Hey everybody, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yee, and today I'm going to be taking a look at an app that's a little bit different. This is called the Trickster's Table app, available for Android and for iPhone. That is a free download, and this is something developed by Dan Bravender, which is actually more of a compilation of different trick-taking games, some that are a little bit older, go back to the 90s, and several of which are very recent and very new ones, in fact. So, let me show you how this one looks and what features it has. You're going to notice it looks fairly stark compared to a lot of designated or dedicated board game apps, but this is really more of a playground, a little system that he has put together, as I mentioned, for free. So go ahead and let me show you what's available in Trickster's Table. Here you can see the Trickster's Table app. It is a very simple interface, but it does have this entire menu of all these different games. So from Boast or Nothing, a few different variations of Yokai Septet, Potato Man, Magic Trick, Splitter, which is the roll and write game, Short Zoot, and Dealer's Dilemma, and of course there are more coming. If you click on the more coming soon, it'll take you to a Board Game Geek list where you can vote on different things, and Dan, the developer of this app, will kind of give you updates and stuff. So let me show you, for example, Boast or Nothing here. You open up the game, it'll automatically deal out all of the cards, and this is what the app is going to look like for all of the games, with a little bit more minimalist artwork and everything, but enough to get you by, color-friendly design on all the cards and such. Let me give you a brief overview of how all the different games work. With Boast or Nothing, you have your hand of cards along the bottom here, and on the top left there are going to be the different rankings of the three suits, or the three colors of the game. So right now yellow is the weakest and red is the strongest. So if I wanted to, I might lead with the yellow 2, and then you're going to be playing against bots, basically, only. And so in this case, the yellow 7 wins the trick. Now another player is going to lead off. I'm going to be trying to avoid tricks. In this particular game, you either want to have 0 tricks, or, in a 4-player game, exactly 2 tricks in order to earn points. You'll notice in this one here, someone played a red, which is highest up on the hierarchy, and so you're going to see that they win the trick, and now the red card is going to fall down the hierarchy table there, and so now red is the weakest amongst all the 3 different suits, kind of a multi-tiered trump. Yokai Septet is a game that's played in partnership, so there's 4 players, me and the person on the top of the screen, and the players on the left and the right. In this game, there are 7 cards of 7 different suits, and the goal is to win all of the 7s, so I might be trying to pass certain cards along to my, to the other player, and I'm just going to throw some cards out there. They will pass 3 to me, and the 2 other partners will pass cards to each other. And now we're playing out, trying to win the 7s when possible. And so this is a game with a lot of tricky strategy. You're also trying to not be the first team to hit 7 tricks without having 4 or more of the 7s, and that's the game right there. Yokai Septet also has a 2-player variant here, which is going to come out in the new box that they are kickstarting here, the Pocket Edition, in which you're going to be playing cards that are face up along the top row, which will unveil cards underneath it, and then the other cards on the bottom are secretly in your hand. And in this one, you're trying to avoid winning too many tricks, while also trying to win all of the 7s. As you play certain cards, they will uncover new ones that you'll then be able to reveal and play from. Potato Man is a classic must not follow, so as I play blue, the other players have to play non-matching cards, and when you win tricks with a certain color, you will win these scoring cards at the top, so by winning a trick with a blue card, I won 2 points. As you can see, the yellow cards will give you the most points, but that's because they have the, generally speaking, lowest range. So as you continue to play, players must not follow suit, and whoever plays the highest card will win points, and then there are special ways to earn the 5-point cards as well. Magic Trick here has been re-implemented recently as Xylotar, but this is the original game in which you have all of your cards face down with the lowest number in the top left of your area and the highest number in the bottom right. As you play out cards, you'll gain clues as to what the other cards in your hand might be. You must follow suit, and whoever plays the highest number of the highest suit is going to win and then lead off the next trick. So you must follow if possible, but the other thing you can do is you can bid. So once you are comfortable knowing how many tricks you think you will win and what the numbers of your cards might be, you can eventually bid with a card to say, I believe in this case I'm going to win 3 tricks by the end of the hand, and you continue to play these cards out face down until you have played them all out and hopefully hit your bid exactly. Dealer's Dilemma is called as such because you get to choose what you want to be the trump suit for the hand, but then also everyone is going to place out 2 cards as the bid, and you can bid in different ways. You can bid with either using one of the 2 numbers, or you can use the difference between the two numbers, or you can even make a zero bid for different amounts of points. And so if you were to do this, 2 and a 5, I'm bidding that I will win exactly 3 of the tricks and score more points by making a difference bid. Short Zoot Suit is the last of the trick-taking games on here, and in this game you have a hand of cards. You will then be assigning 5 of those cards to go into a deck face down, which will be shuffled, and you'll play out cards. In this one you have the option to draw cards up or to lead off, and as you win tricks you will count the number of tricks that you have won, and you also have the opportunity to draw a new card at the start of each trick. After playing cards out, if you were unable to follow the lead suit, then the card that you did not follow with is going to go face up to a non-follow pile here. So you see I have lost 1 trick by not following the suit. I was shorted in it, and I have won 2 tricks exactly. My goal is to try to make those 2 piles exactly equal to each other, and then I'm going to score up points for those different combinations here. So this is an interesting app to talk about because it's not an implementation of one game, but rather multiple. It's kind of a playground of games. I'm going to share some of my few potential negatives with you before I talk about the many, many positives that I do have. So first off, because this is a one-man development team, Dan's doing a great job with it, but there are some limitations. You are playing against bot only, right? There's no pass and play, and there's certainly no like network, local network play against other people, because that would take a lot more development work, understandably. And so if you don't want to have a solo-only app, then that's pretty much what this is, with the one exception of Magic Trick. Because all of the hands of cards are played face down anyway, you can actually have 4 people playing it around the table. But once again, it is limited to 4 players. So there's not a lot of options. There's no like menus and stuff to say, oh, I would like to change the difficulty of the AI that I'm playing against. Oh, I want to play Magic Trick, but a 3-player setup because there's only 3 of us here. There's not those types of bells and whistles. For some of the games, they do have intermediate and easy AI, like in the Yokai Septet 2-player version, but that's more of an exception than the standard here. That being said, I find that in the different games playing against the computers, I win many of them and I lose many of them. And some games more than others, and some of that is just my familiarity with the systems, and some of it I think that the Dealer's Dilemma AI is pretty smart. I think it is just a better system to play against, like a harder AI necessarily maybe than compared to Trickster to Short Zoot Suit, for example. So that is the one negative, and then the other being that it's a very stark-looking app. It is not pretty. It's not what one would call, gorgeous and has bells and whistles. It functions and works really well. But I do appreciate that they did not skimp on some of the important features. Everything's visible that needs to be. In Potato Man, you see the different scoring piles. They're color-coded to match and everything. I like that. I also really appreciate, and this is one of the most important features, is that in Yokai Septet, there are 7 suits, each with 7 different numbers in it. One suit has numbers 1 through 7. The next has 2 through 8, next 3 through 9, all the way up until one has 7 through 15. And that's important to know because the suits all have relatively different kind of weightings and strengths to them. And because of that, it's not all visible right there, but you click on the deck of cards in the Yokai Septet in any of them, and it'll bring up that chart that shows that full display of what all the cards are. And that's incredibly useful both in the physical game, there's a page in the rulebook dedicated for that, as well as in this app. And so I think that even though it doesn't have all the art because of licensing reasons, lots of different publishers, lots of different artists, they reasonably can't get all of that art and put it in here. But it doesn't skimp in what I think are the most important areas, which are features like that and those clarifications. In Dealer's Dilemma, if you're trying to bid with different cards, the little pop-up menu shows up and it says, hey, how are you trying to bid? And it gives you the different options in there. So I think that that's great. So just from the app development side of things, not, like I said, the most robust looking, but really it does give you the features you need to be able to play these games. Now, in termes of the game selection, I think it's phenomenal in here. a lot of these games have been difficult to find. Potato Man recently was reprinted by Minds Vision Games, which I appreciate, and also by Play T from Korea. But for a long time, it was a very hard game to find, and while it was out of print for many years, being able to play it on this app, that's fantastic. And that's kind of how things are with several of these games. Boast or Nothing is one that's very hard to find. It is going to be reprinted in the future from the Portland Game Collective, but that's still a little bit down in their pipeline. They've announced it, they've teased at it, but there's nothing out yet. So in the meantime, play this phenomenal trick-taking game, just solo against a few bots. Taylor Reiner's game, Short Zoot Suit, is also hard to find. It had a very small print run, and there will be a reprint in the future, but in the meantime, this is one of the easiest ways to be able to play it and get into the systems. Some of these games are a little bit simplified, like Short Zoot Suit doesn't have the intermediate scoring cards. If you watched Mike and I's review of that, you know that we really, really loved it, and some of those little extra features are great, but the core system, which is what's in the app, is also plenty of fun. So I think that the selection of games is super cool. The other thing is that the Yokai Septet 2-player rules, the 2-player edition in here, wasn't in the printing, the physical printing of Yokai Septet, but it will be in the upcoming Pocket edition that's on Kickstarter right now. So if you want to play the 2-player rules that are going to be coming out, you can play them right now in this digital implementation. So there's even some kind of sneak peek and play nigh impossible out of print to find games. I think that makes the selection in here really solid. In terms of my favorite games to play, Short Zoot Suit is my favorite of these trick-taking games, followed up very closely by Boast or Nothing. Boast or Nothing having those 3-tiered suits, a very simple system that I think is implemented so well in here. But there's not any of them that I dislike. My least favorite is probably Dealer's Dilemma, and just on a personal level of the bidding, playing the 2 and a 6 because I want to bid the difference between them, or I want to bid the total or just the value of one of the cards. I'm so bad at it. But this is a great way that I could get better at that type of really thoughtful type of bidding. And so I like that they have a diversity of different types of games. Team games where you're playing with partners in Yokai Septet, or games where you're on your own, or games where you have different bidding, or as in Magic Trick, in mid-round bidding. I think that all of the implementations are great. I have played plenty of these games a lot of times, some of them 25 to 30 times or so, because this is an amazing way to pass some time on an airplane, if I'm kind of waiting around at a doctor's office or something. It's a great solo app. And this is something that I look for in my board game apps. I don't necessarily do couch co-op type of stuff too much with my board game apps these days. But you might be in a different place, and so that might be a little bit of a disappointment. But this is a great one if you're looking for something that you can just play yourself. I appreciate as well that all of the games are played in the vertical orientation, so I don't have to rotate my phone sideways. So for being a fun little time waster type of a feeling app, but a more thoughtful one, I like that I can hold it my phone in my my hand like this and just play games very comfortably. I have a few free Hearts and Spades apps that I play as well that force you to play sideways, and that always bothers me. It feels less relaxing to me than being able to hold my phone in the normal orientation. The other thing that I would say about this is that the tutorials are great. When you open up a game for the first time, it says, would you like a tutorial of the game? If you're familiar with it, you're probably fine. But you can say yes, it'll bring up a little menu, and it'll give you kind of a shortened tutorial of it, not the full rule book per se, because it's kind of operating under the assumption that if you downloaded an app called Trickster's Table, you already know how trick-taking games work. It's not cryptic by any means. If you are new to them, I might suggest maybe you get one of those free Spades or Hearts apps first and get familiar with trick-taking. And it wouldn't be hard to jump into this one at all. But I think that because it's assuming that you know at least a few trick-taking games, it makes the tutorials very short, very quick and to the point, and you can start playing them. And the great thing is, you're never going to play wrong rules because they're all programmed in there. And so you can just be playing for fun and kind of figure out the games by brute forcing it, by just playing it. It's such a playable app. It's so fun. I really appreciate this one a lot. I think that Dan Bravender is doing a great job. And so if you want to, there's a little community built around it too. Go to the Geek List, make recommendations, see where he's giving updates on potential future games to add to the app. I think this is great. It's something that I wanted to highlight. I'm not giving necessarily a rating to it because it is a compilation of different games. But, as an app, I think that it's excellent. I think it stands up to that, even while looking a little bit more bare bones and everything. One that I think that you should definitely check out if you like trick-taking games. And if you're still kind of new to it, this is a great way to try a bunch of great ones that you might not be able to find otherwise, or at least find for a while. So that's Trickster's Table. I'm absolutely recommending it, and hope that this was a useful video for you. Till next time, my name is Chris Yee, and I hope that you have a great one.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you, and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Bassett.